Hi everyone, this is Sandra, the Desert Homesteader. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, gonna be a hot day today. We are under an excessive heat warning again, and today is Sunday like I said, and this is my biggest work day, so here I am outside heating up milk on the outside grill because it's too hot inside, but I'm gonna make cheese today. Had a viewer request to see how I make cheese, so here we go. This is 3/4 of a gallon of goat's milk that I have heating up in a nice stainless steel pan. This was raw milk, so I'm going to actually heat it up to 165 degrees, and that's because that'll kill off 165 degrees will kill off the natural bacteria that the goat had in her milk to start with. There are several cheeses where you don't want to kill that off, but in the one I'm going to make for you today, we're going to want it to kill that off. So we're going to heat it up to 165 degrees, leave it to 165 degrees for a minute, and then we'll start cooling it down, and I will take you inside and we'll go on from there. So here we are, it has cooled down, our milk has. And like I said before, this is goat's milk. You can actually do this particular cheese with cow's milk that you buy from the store. It does not have to be fresh. It will set up the same way. Our next step is we are going to be adding an 1/8 of a teaspoon of citric acid dissolved in about a tablespoon of water into the milk. We're going to want to stir that in really good. If you use an up-down motion with your stirring, it actually does better. It gets to all levels. And then we're going to go ahead and, if you were making real mozzarella cheese, there'd be a space between adding the citric acid and the rennet, but because I can't make regular mozzarella cheese here anyways, because I don't have a microwave, and this is goat's milk, so it wouldn't be the same anyways, so I'm just doing them at the same time. This is 1/4 of a teaspoon, which is actually about 6 good drops of veal rennet, non-GMO veal rennet. You could use the vegetable rennet, but I don't find it to set up as easily as the veal rennet, so I use the veal. And it's dissolved in water also. And then we're going to do the same thing with that. We're going to stir it in really well. Make sure we do the up and down motion so it gets to all levels of the milk. We were going to do this inside, but other stuff is happening inside the house. This is our busiest day of the week, so we have about 12 chores that have to be done today, and over and above the normal animal feedings and garden watering, so we're doing it outside. Anyway, so now we've got it stirred in really good. You can already start to see some of the milk coagulating because of the citric acid. Now we're going to put the lid back on this, and we're going to take it inside again and let it sit for a minimum of 20 minutes. Sometimes I like to let it sit more than that. It depends really on a lot of things, temperature, humidity, but I'll show you what the curd should look like when it's done. Okay, our milk has been sitting for about 25 minutes. I'm going to take the lid off and see how the whey is already separating from the curds. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm not going to go through all the things that they teach you to make regular cheese because it should be really easy. This is just so simple. So I'm just going to kind of break it up, stir it a little bit, but I'm going to leave it in fairly big pieces. After I stir it a little bit, I'm going to get ready and pour it into my colander over here. I have my colander lined with cheesecloth. You can actually do this with paper towels if you wanted, if you don't have cheesecloth. I have about 8 layers of cheesecloth here. And you're going to pour it slowly, just because I don't have a lot of cheesecloth in here. I reuse my cheesecloth, so I don't want to waste anything. I'm going to slowly pour it in. We're catching the whey. Oops, and I just had an accident there, but that's easy enough to fix. My curds went over the side, but they're so thick that it's okay because colander catches it anyways. Just need to shift my cheesecloth a little bit. Shake the curds down a little bit so that it's not. Anyways, we're going to save all of this whey because I can use the whey in bread instead of using water. It gives bread extra protein. Or I can mix the whey in with feed for the chickens or the pigs or even the goats. It's a really good protein addition for them. But I create a lot of whey because I make cheese out of almost all of the milk that we have from the goat. So I do all of those things with it. So we're going to slowly do this until we get all of those curds draining in there. Now if we were making mozzarella and this was cow's milk, at this point we'd actually be heating the curds up in the whey, or we would be putting the curds in a microwave so we would stretch it later, but I'm not going to go through all of that. So that's not, I don't call this mozzarella. It has a flavor of mozzarella, but it's goat's milk and I am not going to stretch it. So we're just going to sit this here for a while and let it drain. You can see a lot of it's already drained out. I'll shift the cheesecloth to kind of force some of it out. Tilt my colander. We're just going to let that drain for a while. Our curds are pretty well drained. They're going to need to be drained more after we add the salt, but that's what we're getting ready to do now. So I'm going to lift this out, give it a little bit of a squeeze to get some of that extra whey out. Then I'm going to go ahead and transfer the curds back to the pot. They should peel away cleanly from the cheesecloth. I'm going to put the cheesecloth back in my colander. Sorry about that, the wind's kicking up a little bit. I'm going to reline that. So you can see that it's nice and formed together already, but that doesn't matter because we're getting ready to break it up. And we're going to add salt. At this point you can add however much salt you want to. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon. I'm using sea salt. I do not use cheese salt. A lot of people tell you you have to use cheese salt. Cheese should not be something that people should have to invest a lot of money to be making. Cheese is something that pretty much everybody should be able to make, especially with all of the news reports about the plastic element that's being put into a lot of the cheese out there, especially the string cheeses. But they've found the chemical used in plastic making in a lot of different kinds of cheeses, and so nobody should be afraid to make their own cheese because it's healthier, it's safer. So as you can see, as I'm mixing that salt in, I'm using kind of a pressing motion with the curds, and it's pushing out more whey. Now that whey is very white, so there's a lot of milk left in it. That could actually be soured overnight to make ricotta cheese, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to use this for bread today. And if you want to see how I do that, I don't know, future video, just put a comment that you want to see that. So now we're at the point where we're going to drain off all that excess whey, and we're going to start folding in our cheesecloth, and we're going to squeeze. Because right now we're going to form the ball that's going to make our cheese. Now this cheese, if you squeeze it tight enough and you get it compact enough, it will actually make a really nice grating cheese. And I do use this on pizza. And you're going to want to just kind of squeeze it and keep going. Okay, so I've been squeezing this for quite a while. You can see it's got a nice form to it. Makes a ball on its own if you squeeze it that way. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put it in a bowl that's lined with napkins. You can do that with cheesecloth also if you want, but I like it to be a little bit absorbing. And then I'm going to sprinkle some more sea salt on the outside of it and rub that, and then it'll be ready to use. So that's our simple mozzarella style or type cheese. Next time I will show you how to make a cheese that I will use the cheese press that my husband made on. So we'll see you next time.